Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Happy Tuesday. If this is your first time here, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope that you stick around. So, there was some drama in court today. As usual, black people be doing the most. And it don't matter where they are, they just love attention and they'll do anything for that attention. This woman disrupted the courtroom today by yelling at Diddy. She shouted things like, Diddy, mother effers laughing at you at every damn courtroom. It's not an effing game. So then the judge had to tell court officers to get her the heck out of there. Yeah, they had to remove her from the courtroom. They said she had come in just as prosecutors were informing the judge that someone had used Mia's real name instead of her fake name in court yesterday. So the judge said he would notify court security. Also, a man has been banned from the courtroom, you see, for revealing Mia's real name. Prosecutors told the judge that the man said Mia's real name on his YouTube channel and filmed outside the courtroom yesterday. They just be doing the most. A lot of these YouTubers, they just want attention. They don't care. Don't think because they are reporting things that they care. They do not care. They support Diddy. This is just their way of getting views, okay? They don't care. Before he even was arrested, they were in support of Diddy, and they still are, okay? They just want views. Views is money for them. And they couldn't care less what happens with Diddy's trial, okay? They want views. That's why they are in the courtroom. Well, actually, no. They can't even get inside the courtroom. You know where they at? They are in the overflow. If they even make it inside, they are in the overflow room where they can see, monitors, see what's happening inside the actual courtroom. The real courtroom are for people like the big journalists, like the big platforms like CNN, ABC, NBC, TMZ. They are inside the actual courtroom. And those huge platforms, they have their own writers. They have each one have at least 2 to 3 writers inside the courtroom taking notes. That's why we are able to get these correct updates because of them. They are the one who are inside the courtroom because the courtroom only holds about 100 seats. So yeah, big shout out to the real journalists, not these attention seekers who are just there for the views, because they're not thinking once the trial is over, their views are going back. So why do the most? Well, I guess it's because those 2 months or 3 months, their check will be a lot bigger, a lot more. So I guess it's worth it for them. But now they are banned. They can't even go back to the court. It's so stupid. And then I see that a lot of them are buying views for those videos. Are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me? Oh my gosh, let me mind my business, okay? Back to this case. All right, so it is day 18 today of the Diddy trial, and 2 people testified today, and 1 person testified yesterday, Monday, after Mia's testimony. So I will start with yesterday's witness, Sylvia Oken. So according to the testimony of Sylvia Oken, an employee of the Beverly Hills Hotel in Los Angeles, Diddy, aka Sean Combs, checked into the hotel under aliases including Frank Black or Philip Pines, while Cassie was listed under the hotel's guest profile for Diddy as a guest. Sylvia said Diddy, on one occasion, stayed in room 259 and incurred an extra $300 charge to clean the drapes following his stay. On another occasion, Diddy stayed in bungalow 23B and incurred an extra $500 charge to clean baby oil damage. Sylvia said the charge reflected something beyond the scope of what we would normally clean. You hear this? And that was it for her testimony. So then they called on the next witness today, Eddie Garcia. When Eddie Garcia arrived for his security shift at the Intercontinental Hotel in Century City, California, on March 5th, 2016, he testified he was told there was a domestic dispute. Eddie told the court, "I was informed of the incident and I was shown video," referring to the now widely seen footage of Diddy attacking Cassie at the hotel. The jury once again saw the video that Eddie said he reviewed, depicting Cassie standing by the elevators, putting on her shoes. Diddy is seen on the video rounding the corner wearing only a towel, throwing Cassie to the floor and kicking her. Prosecutor Mitzi Steiner asked, "Did you have an understanding why law enforcement was not contacted?" Eddie testified, "Yes, I was told Ms. Ventura did not request the presence of police or medical attention." An hour or so into his shift, Eddie testified the phone rang at the security desk. He told the court the number did not look like a local call. It was a New York area code, Eddie testified. The caller introduced herself as personal assistant to Mr. Combs, Christina Coram. Christina Coram asked if she could get a copy of the video. "I told her that she would have to reach out to hotel management or get a subpoena," Eddie testified. Eddie testified that about an hour later, the hotel operator called to say someone was in the lobby waiting to see him. Christina Coram, chief of staff of Diddy, was in the lobby, according to Eddie's testimony. She was asking about the video and if there was any way she could see it. She wanted to know what they were dealing with. Eddie told the court that he apologized and said he could not show the video to her. "I did mention to her, I said off the record, it is bad." So later that evening, according to Eddie's testimony, Christina Coram called and put Diddy on the phone. Eddie testified, "He asked me if I knew who he was. I said yes." Eddie said, "Mr. Combs sounded very nervous, just was talking really fast, was just saying that he had a little too much to drink and that I knew how things was with women when one thing led to another." Eddie told the court that Diddy asked if Eddie could provide the video. "He was talking really fast, a lot of stuttering. Just from my perception, sounded really nervous." At home, Eddie told the court he received a call from Christina Coram on his cell phone, his personal cell phone, which he testified made him nervous that I was getting calls on my cell phone. Christina Coram passed the phone to Diddy. Eddie testified he stated that I sounded like a good guy, that I sounded like I wanted to help, that something like this could ruin him, referring to Diddy. He was concerned this video would get out and it would ruin his career. Eddie also testified that Diddy told him he would take care of me. Eddie testified that he told his supervisor Diddy offered to pay for the video and that his supervisor agreed to the deal. He said he would do it for $50. I understood it to mean $50,000. Eddie testified that he called Christina Coram to inform her and Diddy of his supervisor's decision, adding that Diddy sounded excited and referred to me as Eddie, my angel. "Girl, you're my angel, you're my darling angel. Closer than my peeps you are to me, baby." So according to Eddie's testimony, once he told Diddy, "I had it," referring to the Intercontinental Hotel security camera video footage of Diddy's 2016 attack on Cassie, he testified that he was provided with an address that was 20 minutes away from the hotel. So Eddie told the court he wanted the video as soon as possible. Eddie said someone who introduced himself as Diddy's bodyguard met him in the lobby of a building and brought him up to an apartment where he told the court Diddy was smiling, excited, and looking happy. Diddy said, smiling, "Eddie, my angel, come in," making me feel comfortable. Eddie also told the court that Diddy instructed his chief of staff, Christina Corem, to make Eddie a cup of tea. Eddie told the court he handed over a USB drive containing the video and assured Diddy it was the only copy. Eddie testified, "I told him that I did have a concern that if there was to be a police report made at a later time, that it would affect me." He said, "I didn't have to worry about that." Eddie told the jury that Diddy then contacted Cassie via FaceTime. She was wearing a hoodie and the lighting wasn't that great. Before he passed the phone over to me, he said, "Let him know that you want this to go away too." And how did Cassie respond? Prosecutor Mitzi Steiner asked. Eddie testified, "When I got past the phone, I said hi. She said hi. And she said she had a movie coming out and it wasn't a good time for this to come out. And she wanted it to go away." Eddie further testified that Diddy demanded copies of his ID and those of his supervisor, Bill Medrano, and Henry Elias, and another security officer he told the court was on duty that night of the incident. Then the jury saw copies of their driver's licenses as well as copies of the non-disclosure agreement and certification that there was only one copy of the video, which Eddie testified he was made to sign. Eddie said the NDAs, non-disclosure agreement, that him and his staff signed, the liquidated damages were $1 million. And he confirms he was making $10.50 per hour at the time. Eddie then testified that Diddy left the room and allegedly returned with a brown bag and a money counter. Eddie told the court that there were stacks of money being put in through it, stacks of $10,000 at a time. Eddie told the court in total at the end, it was $100,000. Eddie testified, Diddy asked him if he wanted to count the money, and he responded, "I said I trusted the machine." According to Eddie's testimony, Diddy and a bodyguard accompanied him out of the suite and walked him to the valet where his car was parked. He asked me how I would spend the money, and I said I didn't know. He said not to make any big purchases. Ooh. Eddie said he gave Medrano $50,000 and Elias $20,000. Eddie said he bought a used car with cash. Eddie testified that later he noticed that neither the incident report nor the video file attached to it were in the hotel's records. A few weeks later, Eddie said he received a message from Diddy. "Happy Easter, Eddie, my angel. God is good." Eddie testified the message said before Diddy proceeded to ask if anyone had asked about the video. Eddie told the court that he told Diddy he had heard nothing. Eddie said he saw the video years later on a news outlet and said Flores also texted him a screenshot. He said he deleted all the related messages, not wanting anything to do with it. Eddie says he was later contacted by law enforcement, but he says he did not tell the truth about the incident as he wanted nothing to do with the investigation. So Eddie's testimony concluded with minimal cross-examination from the defense, and Eddie agreed with defense attorney Brian Steele that Diddy had treated him professionally. And that was it for Eddie Garcia's testimony. Then, Derek Ferguson, former chief financial officer of Combs Enterprises, took the witness stand. Derek Ferguson, who worked in several capacities for Diddy for nearly 20 years, including 12 years as chief financial officer for Bad Boy Entertainment, Derek Ferguson walked the jury through Diddy's bank accounts, financial structures, how the businesses manage cash, and how employees were reimbursed for expenses on their corporate cards. Several of Diddy's assistants previously testified about purchasing supplies for so-called freak-off sexual encounters at Diddy's orders. Jurors saw a series of wire transfers related to a payment described earlier in the trial by Cassie Ventura's mother. Regina Ventura testified that she and her husband took out a home equity loan to fund the payment that she alleged in testimony that Diddy demanded to recoup money he had spent on her daughter because he was angry that she had a relationship with Kid Cudi. The jury saw a December 14, 2011 transfer from an account set up to manage Diddy's home in Alpine, New Jersey, to Cassie Ventura for $20,000. And then on December 23, 2011, the same account received $20,000 from Cassie's father. Then, 4 days later, on December 27, the account transferred $20,000 for return of funds. So he returned the money back to Cassie's father's bank account. Now, Derek Ferguson is under cross-examination. He told the jury he grew up in the Bronx, attended Stuyvesant High School and Harvard Business School, and left a prestigious job at another record company to work for Diddy. Derek testified, "What I observed with the Bad Boy at the time and Sean Combs was a company that was giving a lot of young executives opportunities from communities I grew up in." Then the defense showed the jury an organizational chart of Diddy's businesses with its array of executives, two of whom, including Derek, were educated at Harvard Business School. Then the defense contended that the organizational chart showed Diddy atop an empire of legitimate, often successful ventures in music, television, and liquor while he is on trial for allegedly running a criminal enterprise. Derek agreed with defense attorney Mark Agnifilo that it was common for people in the entertainment industry to employ personal assistants. Derek testified, "I think there's a whole laundry list of things they would possibly be involved in." Derek also testified that he agreed with Mark Agnifilo that security personnel were a part of the business. Mark Agnifilo asked, in order to keep him safe, they would be with him. Derek said, "Personal protection, yes." Agnifilo asked, "They were paid by the company, correct?" Derek said, "Generally." Then Mark Agnifilo asked Derek a rapid-fire series of questions regarding his 19 years of working for Diddy. "Did you see any help Sean Combs commit crimes?" Derek said no. "Did you see anyone help Sean Combs commit acts of violence?" Derek said no. "Did you see anyone make the company stronger through threats or violence?" Derek said no. "Did you see anyone enhance Mr. Combs' reputation or the reputation of any business through emotional, physical, or sexual abuse?" Derek said, I did not. Where did you work physically? Derek said, in the New York office. At any time, were you based out of Mr. Combs' homes? Derek said, no. Did you ever stay in a hotel room with Mr. Combs? Derek said, no. Derek confirmed there were employees in the finance department who went through the corporate credit card statements to determine which charges were valid business expenses and which were personal expenses. Derek said he and Diddy did not do this personally. So then, during cross-examination, Derek testified that the company's taxes were always done correctly and that he wouldn't let there be any financial impropriety on his watch. I would do everything I could to not let that happen, Derek said. Derek testified under cross-examination that he observed Diddy's work ethic. He just worked constantly. Passion for what he did was really high. So his work ethic and the number of hours that he put in was something that really pushed the entire team. Derek also said that he learned a lot from Diddy while he worked for him and that he thought he had a great business mind. After leaving his employment in 2017, Derek said that he did not speak with Diddy often except for some odds and ends related to his departure and occasionally on holidays. The last communication the two had was in 2024 when Diddy texted him asking to talk, but Derek did not respond. And you know why? Because in 2024, the investigation has started. So yeah, you guys, that is all for all three testimonies today. So yeah, leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss any new updates. And guess what? I will see you on the next one. Peace.